Welcome to the Chet TV News. I'm Madison Lynch. Here are top stories for today. A man from Nanaimo has been selling illegally caught fish in Dawson Creek. A body found in Burns Lake has been identified. The search for a missing mushroom picker from Fort Nelson has ended. 2 men robbed a convenience store in Grand Prairie on Sunday morning. Another convenience store, this time in Fort St. John, has been robbed by an armed man. 3 Fort St. John firefighters went to Arizona yesterday. And finally, Terra Energy has sold all of its assets to Crew Energy. Starting in Dawson Creek, the fishing industry has been anything but normal over the past few years because of one man. Scott Stanley Matthew Steer has been found guilty of illegally harvesting and selling out-of-season fish stocks in Dawson Creek and several other locations. He was fishing out of a vessel in Gibsons, BC, and the owner became suspicious when Steer returned with less fish than expected on 3 occasions. Steer has been charged with multiple contraventions of a fishing license, sale or possession of illegally caught fish, and out-of-season harvesting. Steer also used an alias name of John Renton to transport a large amount of illegally caught frozen sablefish and halibut from Vancouver Island to Dawson Creek. His offenses range from July to December of 2010, and he is set to be sentenced on July 29th. Moving over to Francois Lake, sadly, the body found in Burns Lake has been identified as a Burns Lake resident, John Angus Mowat. He disappeared in July of 1984 while fishing, and at the time his boat, fishing rod, and fish were found, just not his body. Searchers came across Mowat's body while looking for missing Burns Lake man Sid Neville, whose body still hasn't been found. Now taking a look at Fort Nelson, the search for a missing mushroom picker has ended after RCMP found his body on Sunday morning. 61-year-old Lyle Martin had been missing for 6 days after being dropped off at a mushroom picking camp on Eskai Road on July 1st, when he never returned for his pickup. His body was found in a wooded area at kilometer 29 on Eskai Road, and only 1 kilometer from where his backpack and mushroom baskets were found, and just only several meters from 100 meters from where he was dropped off. Martin was an experienced man with the outdoors, having advanced skills in hunting, fishing, and backcountry, but he was only equipped for a 1-day excursion. He was a member of the Neskonlith Indian Band near Chase, BC, and the Fort Nelson First Nations and the Fort Nelson Victim Services are now assisting his family in this time of grief. Meanwhile, in Grand Prairie, a convenience store was turned upside down on Sunday. 29-year-old Sean Reynolds and 30-year-old Sean Cormier have been charged with break and enter with intent after stealing over $500 worth of merchandise from the convenience store. The 2 men entered the store on 99th Street and 116th Avenue through the window around 6:30 on Sunday evening. Witnesses say they then fled the scene in what was described as a 2005 dark gray Tundra, and police were able to locate the men at an apartment building in Grand Prairie. Reynolds will be in Grand Prairie Provincial Court today, July 10th, and Cormier will make his first appearance on July 29th. A convenience store in Fort St. John isn't doing any better as a man faces charges after allegedly robbing the store. The man entered the convenience store on Sunday just after midnight with a knife and left with an undisclosed amount of stolen cash. 34-year-old Kurt Eric Lemke has been charged with robbery, carrying a weapon for dangerous purpose, and breach of probation. Police were able to find the silver Ford Focus with a license plate matching the description from that of the clerk, and later in the day it was determined that the driver was responsible for the armed robbery. Lemke appeared in court on Monday, July 8th. 3 Fort St. John firefighters were in Arizona yesterday morning honoring the 19 elite hotshot firefighters who lost their lives in the line of fire last month. Simon Cahill, Chris Austin, and Craig Faulkner left for Arizona Monday morning for Prescott Valley, where they attended the memorial service along with thousands of others from across North America. The firefighters were killed on June 30th in the Big Yarnell Hill fire that was sparked by lightning on June 28th, and its flames reportedly spread too quickly, which trapped the crew. Sadly, only 1 member survived, who was the lookout at the time. And lastly, Terra Energy has completed selling its assets to Crew Energy for a total of $36 million to complete the final transaction. The balance of Terra's unconventional Montney assets included parts in Alteris, Hudson, and Mika. The sale was the third and final transaction between the two Calgary-based companies, and which made for a combined gross proceeds of $78 million. The first stage was completed in December of 2012 and included Montney assets in Maneas, Ground Birch for $22 million, and the second was completed in February and included Montney assets located in the Stoddart, Eagle, and Attachie for $20 million. The proceeds will go towards paying down Terra Energy's net debt, which is currently estimated at approximately $20 million following the closing of the deal. You're now up to date on the Peace Region sports and news. I'm Madison Lynch.